A deadly and devastating missile and drone attack by Russia has shaken Ukraine's capital, Kyiv, killing at least 28 people, including a 2-year-old child, and injuring over 150 others. This is now being described as the worst assault on the city in months, particularly because of the sheer number of children among the victims. On Friday morning, Ukrainian Prime Minister Yulia Svyrydenko confirmed that the body of a 2-year-old child had been pulled from the rubble. She stated that the death toll had reached 28, and heartbreakingly, 3 of those killed were children, aged 2, 6, and 17. The attack occurred in the early hours of Thursday morning, when Russia launched an overwhelming assault involving more than 300 drones and at least 8 missiles, aimed directly at residential areas and civilian infrastructure in Kyiv. Rescue teams said 16 of those injured were children, the highest number of child casualties in a single attack on Kyiv since Russia began its full-scale invasion more than 3.5 years ago. In response to the tragedy, Kyiv city authorities declared Friday a day of mourning, as recovery operations continued throughout the day in several of the city's worst-hit districts. Prime Minister Svyrydenko, posting on X, said, "The world possesses every instrument required to ensure Russia is brought to justice. What is lacking is not power, but will." Her statement was a pointed appeal to the international community for firmer action. President Volodymyr Zelensky, in his nightly video address, praised emergency workers for their relentless efforts. He stated that dozens of the wounded, including children, remained hospitalized and emphasized that Ukraine's first responders continue to restore life after Russian strikes.
Dear
Ukrainians, there have been a few reports from the Interior Ministry already today about the rescue efforts, about the clearing of debris after the Russian strike. Emergency services will continue their work as long as needed. People are being located under the rubble. More than 100 people have received some kind of treatment. There are a lot of wounded, of injured, among them 14 children. As of now, tens of people are in hospitals. I'm truly grateful to the rescue workers, to the policemen, to every doctor, to every nurse, to all who are involved in helping out, to all utilities teams. It is very important that Ukrainians can help each other to do their work in such an orderly and humane way. They restore life after Russian strikes. Unfortunately, there are fatalities. As of now, we know about 14 dead, among them a 6-year-old child. My condolences to all the friends and family.
14 загиблих у Києві. Серед них 6-річна дитина.
Reacting from Washington, U.S. President Donald Trump called Russia's behavior disgusting during an Oval Office media interaction. However, he appeared uncertain when asked whether sanctions alone would be enough to deter future Russian aggression.
Nice to see you. How are you?
Russia today hit Kyiv with missiles and drones. More than 100 people, kids.
I think it's Russia. I think it's disgusting what they're doing. I think it's disgusting. This is Biden's war. It's not my war. But I said if I get in, I'll try and get the thing stopped. But I think what Russia's doing is very sad. A lot of Russians are dying. You have a lot of Russians. More Russians are dying. But Russians are dying. Ukrainians are dying. You know, the United States isn't really involved in that war. It shouldn't be. And by the way, I made a deal with NATO where NATO pays us for everything that we send. We send them.
Trump has now set a deadline, August 8th, for Russian President Vladimir Putin to reach a deal. Failing that, he warned, the U.S. would escalate economic pressure in response to continued acts of violence against Ukraine. As Kyiv mourns yet another tragic chapter in this long and brutal war, the international community is again being tested, not just in its condemnation, but in its capacity to act meaningfully to stop these attacks. This was one of the deadliest strikes on Kyiv in recent memory, claiming innocent lives, including those of very young children. For continuous updates and in-depth global reporting, subscribe to the Indian Express on YouTube. Stay informed, stay aware.